This will be an explanation of the second part of the Deathless Bolero skip. If you want to see an explanation of the first part of the trick, you can watch Fig's video, which I'll link in the description. But basically, this part of the trick I haven't seen explained anywhere in videos before, and I'm not sure many people know about it. But when you do the part where you backwalk off the edge, press B, then press A to release, sometimes you pop back up, like I just did right there. And this is because you only have a certain amount of frames to press B. So, first of all, this trick works from 2 ESS turns right here all the way to 8. Sometimes 2 doesn't work, depending on your position, so it'll just be a bit safer to go from like 3 to 8. But basically, you start in your ESS, and then you either hold ESS down or straight down. I'm just gonna do straight down because it's just easier. But when length starts to move, that's when I'm gonna count frame 1. So the first 4 frames of length moving, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 frames don't work for this trick. You can see the link pops back up. They work for the next 7 frames after. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be the first frame right there. That works. You can see the Y value going down. And then I'll show the last working frame. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there's 7 working frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be the last one. Now I'll just show you the first non-working frame after the working ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there's 7 working frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this is the first of the non-working frames. You can see that link didn't even fall off the bridge. That happens sometimes, or he could fall off and pop back up in the cutscene. But this angle is lenient enough that you can just flick upright. And still do the charge. Or you can just do ESS turns. Doesn't matter. But basically, it's not hard to time. It's a 7 frame window, and it's shortly after you start backwalking. This trick can still work if you backwalk longer than the initial 7 frames that I showed, but it's basically a coin flip whether or not it'll work, because Link's backwalk animation goes through a cycle, and there's some series of working frames and some series of non-working frames. So this one worked right there, even though I was backwalking a long time. And this one failed. So it's consistent if that one failed too. It's consistent if you press B shortly after starting to backwalk. And that's what most people do, but when you fail this, it's usually either because of position or you just took too long to press B. And you just run into those non-working frames. And one last thing I'll say is that sometimes, depending on your position, there could be a range of ESS turns. When I was initially testing this, it was 6 and 7, but when I came back to test it, they didn't work for me. But initially, 6 and 7 worked for me every single backwalk frame of the animation. That was just lucky positioning, but that won't always happen, so I wouldn't count on that to happen again. it didn't happen right there, so this position wasn't good for that. But yeah, if you just do it within those initial 7 frames, you will be good for the trick.